quaich, I think, is a Gaelic word.
Yes.
It came into my possession when an uncle and aunt of mine died.
Was that recently or
no,
a long
about
time ago?
nearly 30 years ago.
Various pronunciations, but the usual one is quaich, which is actually...
The word itself comes from the Gaelic quaich, meaning a cup, and the vessel was the Highland token of welcome, passed from hand to hand at a clan gathering or a wedding so that each guest drank from the same bowl to seal friendship. Survivors from before the 1700s are genuinely scarce, because a great deal of early Scottish silver was melted down for coin during the Jacobite decades that followed. A staved bowl built from separate sections, like a tiny barrel, is the mark of the very earliest examples.
Have the scratch engraving round here, which is quite crudely done, but it is exactly how it should be. The earliest ones appear from about 1650 onwards, and this one, as I say, is absolutely in date with the coin, although looking round the sides here, they don't appear to be any hallmarks, which is not uncommon for Scottish silver, especially on quaichs. If we turn it over, you see there's got this nice banding on the outside of different coloured wood held together by this girdle here, and a little silver rim round there. Quaichs before 1700 are pretty rare, and Scottish silver in the last few years has really gone up in value, and especially early Scottish silver like this. I wouldn't be at all surprised now to see a piece of this date, even though, bearing in mind, it has, I noticed, round here, it's been dropped and the handle is broken, which will have a slight effect, but it's still a rare article. I think we're looking at £4,000 or £5,000.
What, 5,000? Good gracious me.
The sculptor behind this shield was Leonard Morel-le-Durel, a Frenchman from Clermont-Ferrand who spent the best part of 3 years modelling the original before it was unveiled to international acclaim at the Paris Universal Exhibition of 1867, where it carried off a gold medal.
They built up layer upon layer upon layer of copper, and by doing that, they could reproduce the mould absolutely perfectly. And you can just see at the top here the copper showing through before it was plated electrolytically.
The master version that Morel-le-Durel made, wrought in iron and inlaid with silver and gold, was bought for the nation for £2,000, a colossal sum at the time, and it still hangs in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. The Birmingham firm then produced a small run of copies in copper for the great houses and the new civic museums, which is almost certainly how an example of this quality came to be hanging on a wall today. It is generally regarded as the sculptor's masterpiece and the finest thing the firm ever made.
But they're not very common things. 10 in 30 years is not a great number. I think your insurers should be told that a figure of about £5,000 should be put on it.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Where does it hang at home?
Well, we own a hotel and it hangs in the hotel just on the wall.
Well, you might have to nail it to the wall a little more.
You've watched hundreds of these moments. The ordinary object. The jaw-dropping value. But here's the question we never ask: what's sitting in your home? You don't have to wait for the Roadshow to come to your town. In seconds, Velco tells you what it is, when it was made, and what it could be worth. It's like having the Roadshow in your pocket. Open the App Store and search Velco. VELQO. Or point your phone at the screen. You might be sitting on a fortune. Deep blood-red garnets like these are Bohemian, mined in the Czech Highlands and cut in their thousands in the little town of Trebenis, which supplied a Victorian craze for the stone. The single large facete garnet at the center of a bangle is unusual, because the rough almost never grows big enough to yield one.
What an absolutely fantastic garnet bracelet that is. You were going to tell me something about the actual place where you think it may have come from originally.
Apparently, my great-great-grandmother was left them by her mother-in-law, and her mother-in-law had, or somebody in her family before that.
Look at the garnets first of all. You'll see that they're all faceted individually. You've got these pear-shaped stones at the side of the frame, smaller ones in towards the centre, and then the cabochon cut right in the middle. These are called pyrope stones, but they're garnets of a particular density of colour, and that's what makes them so beautiful. Now, with all those garnets, the one that really dwarfs them all is this massive faceted garnet in the middle of the bangle, in a border of little half pearls, and then you've got some little drops for the ears here. Quite often with this kind of jewellery, the settings, the gold mounts, are actually quite low-grade gold. So it's kind of, if you like, 9-carat gold mountings, which sort of doesn't really do justice to the sheer expanse and beauty of the set. Do you wear this at all?
I can't wear the bracelet. It's a bit small and therefore quite wide and quite uncomfortable. And I've never had an occasion where I've needed something that splendid.
Total value for this set, £4,000 to £5,000.
The light here shows us how very white these diamonds are, because this is a diamond parure of jewellery. Parure, a set, brooch and matching drops for the ears. The period of design for something like this is very much late 1940s, start of the 1950s, when London jewellers used to make jewellery like this, very white, using brilliant cuts, which are the round diamonds, and in this case,
Carlo Giuliano was the most celebrated jeweller working in London in the late Victorian years, an Italian who ran a famous showroom on Piccadilly and made pieces for the aesthetic circle around the painters of the day. When he died in 1895, his two sons, Carlo Joseph and Arthur, carried the business on and struck their own joint maker's mark, the very mark that dates and authenticates this suite. The Victoria and Albert Museum holds a group of the firm's work today.
Who were working in the Victorian times, called Giuliano. And you had...
It is them.
It is them. Did you have a suspicion that it might have been?
I've never ever had anybody look at it before, but I hope that it might be.
Well, I'm delighted to confirm that it is. It's not Carlo Giuliano the father, it's actually the sons, and they've got a slightly different mark there. And we can date this piece to about 1890. It's getting towards the end of the Victorian period.
Yes.
You've also got, just as an extra bonus, a matching chain to go with it as well. Although I'm looking at that and that hasn't got a maker's mark on it. But this is absolutely right and correct and proper for the period by this maker.
Yes.
And it's colourful, it's delicate, it's wearable, and it's deeply commercial.
Oh, thank you.
Right, well, let's talk about values. The diamond clip brooch, each side here has got about 6 carats of diamonds. That counts to about 12 carats of diamonds. So at basic break-up price for this diamond brooch, we would be looking at maybe £4,000 or £5,000. The earrings to go with it, the fact it's a set adds a little boost to it as well. So I think those earrings are something around the £3,000 to £3,500 region. And then we move to this. Now, I would like to think that if this was being sold, the interest would be comprehensive, and I think it's probably going to be worth something in the region of £6,000 for this as well.
Yes.
That's the key name.
Yes.
Black enamel on a memorial jewel is a deliberate Georgian code, reserved for mourning a married adult, where white enamel was kept for an unmarried person or a child. This collection runs from a memorial jewel of the early 1800s right through to the turn of the 20th century.
Most people interested in antique jewellery, this is probably a memorial jewel, and as I turn it in the light, I can see perfectly well it's engraved on the back with a dedication inscription. It says, to Jane Redmond Smith. Jane Redmond Smith died the 15th of April, 1805, aged 58 years. We actually know that Jane Redmond Smith was a married lady. In memorial jewellery, when the enamel is black, it's for married people, and when it's in white, it's for those that are unmarried, so we know that...
The single most valuable thing in the bag is the natural pearl, a pearl formed by chance in the wild, with no human help at all. When Mikimoto perfected the cultured pearl in the 1920s, the price of natural pearls collapsed almost overnight, and for years they were unfashionable. But the wild beds have never recovered, and a fine natural pearl of real size and luster is now rarer than a comparable diamond, which is precisely why a single strand can carry a 5-figure valuation.
You put that one down for a minute, and there's another absolutely beautiful diamond jewel. This one is absolutely at the turn of the century. You can see the diamond work is crisper and it returns more fire. And you can see the focus of the brooch is a very good natural pearl. I mean, one with the most unusual rainbow sheen to it. And it's trailed with laurel wreaths and hung with yet another pearl. And the date of this one, it's mounted in gold and platinum, is about 1900. So there's quite a span of ancestral jewellery here, isn't there? I mean, what a fantastic group to come out of one bag. It's certainly early 19th century, mid-19th century, turn of the century. Right. And what we've got to say a lot about, really, is what kind of value you'd attributed to them.
They were valued about 17 or 18 years ago, so I had an idea then, but that was one of the reasons that I wanted to bring that. I've really got no idea of what in the present
No memory
day.
at all of that. You said...
I'm not sure about the ring at all. I think it was just those two. But
I think that's become much more the focus of collectors today. So I think you'd have to reckon that alone is something like £1,200 to £1,500 to a collector. Really, really lovely one. And then moving on to this one, which is, I have to say, in really very, very good condition. You could expect to get £6,000 for that today. And then, when you're...
Any contributions for the insurance?
No, quite, I know. This one, I think you've got to reckon that another 6,000 or 7,000. So it really was rather a good visit. Very good visit from my point of view.
Before you go, a quick word that could save you from a costly mistake. Every week, treasures like the ones you just watched are sold at car boot and yard sales for pennies by people who simply didn't know what they had. Don't let that be you. With Velco, just snap a photo of anything in your home, and in seconds you'll know what it really is and what it's really worth. And it's completely free. Point your phone's camera at the code on screen now, or search the App Store for Velco, VELQONO, before you let it go.